just love the sparkles and the colors. You know, when I was a young child, when I was like just a party over 2, my mother started me with dancing and acrobatics and tap dance and all of that. And the very first time I ever performed on the stage was to Somewhere Over the Rainbow. You know, so the rainbow theme has been there all my life. And
Full
then,
circle.
yeah, I did it when I was a child. And then when I was doing my purification, the deep purification with the Essene people, it was the rainbow family. And we had rainbow painted cars, and we wore rainbows. Our clothes were called rainbows because we painted with the 7 colors. And I ran around in clothes with lotuses and roses and angels and all kinds of clouds and things all painted in rainbow colors. You know, and so it's amazing how the themes of your life can emerge in different ways, you know. And it's just what I love. It's really nothing more than that, but it's not airy-fairy because the work is really deep and the preparation is really deep and the approach to natural medicine, to evolution is really deep. And if you have that grounding and you have the truth and you have the depth and you have the preparation, you can be as fairy-like as you like or as angelic as you like, but it's not disassociated. It's connected. You know, it's different than just ideas or dreams. I mean, this moment here is the result of the entire years of work. You know, it's not an airy-fairy, light, new age, or whatever, you know, thing. It's really deep, and for each one of you as well. You'll notice as time goes by that a lot of what you're absorbing here is on a very deep level, and definitely on a cellular level. You'll find yourself living differently, and for me that's real. You know, just the colors and the magic and the beauty that I love is just a bonus, really. It's just a bonus. But somehow I can't imagine it all. One time I was doing a conference, I was invited to present at this conference in Tucson, Arizona. Or, yeah, I think might have been, yeah, it was Phoenix. And the day I arrived was the day that Diana died. And I don't have a television. And I was very British. You know, I had spent 12 years in England, and I felt very, very deeply connected to the whole thing. And the timing was perfect because I'd been invited to present my dances. I was in a beautiful hotel room with the TV. And I spent my entire time watching TV and crying and meditating and that whole thing that happened. And then I would go out into the conference and do my dance. And there was hundreds of people there, and I had 7 sets of 7 rainbows. And before the presentation, I had them all around the room. And I only had 2 hours. So I put all my dresses on one after the other. And I started with the red. And I was so full of the whole thing about Diana and all the universal grief and all those, you know, hundreds of thousands of people and all the flowers and the whole scene that was happening. And I'd never done like a presentation of all the dances in a very short time. And I just went for it. I was like, this is red, and this is the earth, and this is how we dance. And we would do that for like 20 minutes or something, or I had it all worked out like by 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and then I'd whip off the dress, and then I'd go, and this is orange, and this, whoop! And then I got down to the last one, this one, and I went, I'm not taking off this one. You know, and at the end of it, I was besieged by this whole crowd of people, and they were like tearing at all the colors, and they were all wanting them. It was pretty amazing, but I think today we'll actually light the candles in the 7, in those little 7. Let's do that.
Yeah, go ahead, Georgia.
So, you know, the ether element, I mean, to take a room in a hotel, even if it was a beautiful hotel, and transform it from a basically empty space, to take the stage and to drape it with silk and all of these things. I mean, when the people came in after lunch, they were just like, oh my God, what happened? And then after it was all over, and several people went through kind of huge experiences, and I think, no, that wasn't where I met you, no. Everything had to come down. And then you walked back in the room, and there was a complete absence of color. It was very dramatic for me. Just to have it all. And then So the ether element is the element in the throat center, the element of vibration. You can just feel the wave motion if you put your hand to your throat and listen to your own voice with your fingers, with your hand, and speak. Just make a sound. We'll all go, ah. And you can feel the wave motion there, can't you? Just the vibration of the sound of your own voice. And so you can hear it here. You can get in touch with the vibration. You can feel it here. You know, it sort of starts disappearing down here. And then, of course, in yoga, if you put your fingers, you know, your thumbs in your ears, everyone do this now. You just become the vibration, the incredible sound, you know, inside your cranium. The sound of your own being. Everyone's voice is different. Now we have people that are very visual, we have people that are very auditory, and we have people that are very kinesthetic, but we all have all of those qualities. And some people remember differently. For me, when I hear a person's voice, I get total recall. People have called me up that I've known 15, 20 years ago in England. The moment I hear their voice, I know who they are. And everything floods back. But if I see a face, I recognize the face, but I don't get total recall. I go like, I can remember once being in the placa underneath the temple in Greece, in Athens, and just going into a restaurant, and this woman comes up and she goes, "Hi, Farida." And I go, "Who on earth is this person?" and her and her husband go, "Let's all have dinner together." So I go, "Okay." That was before I go, "I know thousands of people in the world, and I have a really menopausal memory. Who are you?" You know. And it was so amazing. I spent the entire evening with them, not remembering who she was. Because I was into that thing in my early 40s where I was too embarrassed, you know, to say who I was or what was happening. And then a day or two later I went, "Oh yes!" You know, it's like that. But some people do it with visual, some people do it with touch, and people that are very visual, like I am, we tend to have a very, very good input with sound. Like when I hear a person's voice, it just does something to me, the vibration of it, the quality of it. I can feel emotion in it. I feel all kinds of things in people's voices. Some people read auras, you know, some people have all kinds of ways of connecting with energy. So the ether element, you know, is about the waves in the universe. It's about sound and creation. And it's about the vibration that we send into the universe. And it's about the sound waves that we pick up with our ears. But we don't always only pick up with just our ears. We pick up with our bones. We pick up with our tissues. We pick up with the hormones, crystals in our blood. We pick up with all kinds. We pick up with our teeth, with our hair. It's like we receive the emanations and vibrations of light and sound in the universe with all of our being. And we are one with it. We contribute to it. We receive it. And so we need to become aware very, very greatly about this relationship of this vibration with the universe. So ether is the giving of sound from the throat, but it's also about the receiving of sound with our ears and with our bones and our teeth and our body. So it is both yin and yang. We've been dealing with yang, yin as we go through the chakras, but when we come to the throat, yin and yang come together. Giving of sound, yang. Receiving of sound, yin. Receptivity. Giving out, being receptive. So the both are happening at the same time. And they're always happening together. And the ether element is also about the quality of discrimination. Discrimination, we are different, you see, because we're the human species in the world is the only species that has the element of ether. And this goes back in very, very ancient traditions of Vedic and Hindu and Ayurvedic and many, they've always said that human beings are the only living species that has the ether on it. We're the only species that has discrimination. We're the only species that think in the way we do and have consciousness of our life in the way we do. Doesn't mean that a spider doesn't have fear, or that a dog doesn't have greed. One of my daughter's dogs in Maine, I tell you, he would just sit there every time I came in the kitchen, and his ears and his attention was just, and all he wanted was a treat. And he would just never give up the entire time he was there because he knew I was weak. And I was always sneaking food behind my daughter's back. And if she would catch me, she would go, "Mother, don't do that, you're spoiling the dog." But this dog was just, just his greedy nature was so adorable. And, he would just, the kitchen and that dog were just intertwined, and you think, well, you hope he's a cook in his next life, because if he isn't, I don't know what kind of a problem he's going to have, but, and you can see these other qualities in animals and different, species, especially fear, because no matter what it is, you try to kill it. Oh, the kitty has come! You knew we were talking about animals. I'm here, she says. She visits every year, and I was thinking this year, where is she? She always comes and says hello. So anyway, yeah, animals, they have many, qualities, but they don't have discrimination. So as humans, we need to really learn to develop and honor and respect our discriminatory quality, which means the choices we make, because animal choices are a lot about instinct. It's the nature of a dog to do this. It's the nature of a tiger to do this. It's the nature of a whale to do this. They have a nature that they follow in terms of how they eat, in terms of what they do, how they protect themselves. Hello. Hello. Ooh, she says it's a little red. So the discrimination, the choices that we make, the awareness that we have a goal, that we have a journey, that the choices that we make, are they choices that lead us to where we want to go? Or are they choices that lead us not where we want to go? Or are we going there, but we're also doing a lot of things that are keeping us from there? And so in the discriminatory process, you want to be aware of all the energies of all the chakras. Because basically, the elements are all flowing into ether and dissolving in space, or they're coming from the formless space and manifesting in form. And when we think of ether, we think of stars and cosmos and the universe and the infinite possibilities of the sort of astral and causal realms that we spiral out of and into in the physical world. If you see a shell, and you see a shell spiral into the world, or you see a plant spiral into the world, a flower or a leaf or a tree, whatever it is that's spiraling into the world, where did that spiral start? Well, you could say, well, it started in the seed. But where did the seed come from? Another plant. And so there is something behind the energy that manifests and spirals and unfolds into the universe, into the physical reality that we see. So in a sense, that's the ether element. It's the potential of things. It's the potential of things that manifest according to the energy pathways into the universe, that manifest and come into physical form. And we can catch those places where they come in, and we can be aware of them, and we can feel them. And it's the same with thought forms, with choices, with how life unfolds, the sense we get that something is to happen, something is coming. Are we preparing for it? The synchronicity of life, the more that you're in tune, the more you're actually prepared for whatever is coming. You have a sense of it before it comes. And so discrimination is very important. There's so many people that, especially women, that have throat, thyroid issues. It's like, are you speaking your truth? Have you been told to stop speaking your truth? As a child, as a woman in a marriage, whatever, as a man at work who can't speak the truth because of competition and aggression and backstabbing in the workplace. It's not just one sex or the other, it's the way the world is. How is it that we can be in ourselves and be true to ourselves and be natural and be who we are? Part of it, when you get to a certain evolution, it really seems to be that you almost have to have your own kind of life. You have to maybe not work in a corporate setting or not work somewhere where you cannot honor these cycles and rhythms and truths as they need to be. I mean, I'm very, very grateful, even though, of course, I work very hard to keep things going in my life. I'm very, very grateful that I can make my own schedules, make my own days, respond to my inner and outer changes, take the time off that I need and arrange my schedule. I can't imagine functioning in my life if I had to do a 16-hour day in a corporate setting wearing a power suit. I just can't even imagine. And having been a midwife and having birthed 3 of my dearest friends in England in a hospital and seeing the stresses and strains of the hospital life and taking me 3 weeks to 4 weeks to recover for having to battle for each of those women for the right to give birth in the way that they needed to. It's like I can't even imagine what it must be like to work in a hospital and have all that aggression and domination around you and control. So it's like, especially in the School of Natural Medicine, so many of our students and graduates have evolved very creative lives where they really have made it possible for themselves to live authentically. And some of you are already doing that to some degree, where you're running your own schedules and doing the creative things, that you want to do. So it's something to think about. But even within that, you still need to be thinking about your own balance, not just about the money or how many people you have, or pressuring yourself from within for other reasons. And I used to have so much more of that within me. And as time goes on, of course, I'm not educating my children now. I'm not doing things that I was doing for many, many years, completely raising and educating and marrying daughters and sons and paying for the many, many, many things that go along with that. I did that all from my work as a single parent. So the etheric element is also the invisible energy that is made visible by those who can see. Many people see the emanations off of people. They look at the colors that people wear. They look at the colors in the faces. Many people can see the auric fields. When you become very sensitive to energy, you can look at a dinner that someone has made that seems like it's bursting with life and color, and then you can look at a dinner that someone else has made and it's completely dark or gray or no light. You can walk into someone's home and have it filled with etheric magic, like Robin's lovely mountain house. And you can walk into another home that just seems like everything has no energy and there's nothing moving, or the colors. And so that's the etheric element also. It's a kind of grace, and it's a kind of beauty, and it's a kind of liveliness, color. I mean, before Seneca went all white with her, her training this year, I mean, every time she would come to the gathering, it would just be this amazing color display that was just fantastic. Which is really a celebration of color. I mean, it's so, so beautiful. And people have many, many different ways of doing it. It isn't always necessary, to be as dramatic as I am, or, or whatever. But there is a quality that is the etheric element that radiates from each person. Absolutely. When I walk into Rasayana in Bangkok, I just go, there's the fountain and the tree, and just the wall garden and everything. You just go, this is like an oasis. And you just feel it immediately, how comfortable you can be in the middle of Bangkok. And even if it's really hot, it feels cool in there.
The tree.
Yeah, the tree. But everything was very, very nice. Nicely done, so that you could take advantage of what was there. But that's the ether element. And there's so much of that kind of beauty in Thailand, especially when you go into the spas. I mean, the etheric element is really beyond belief beauty. Unbelievable. And also so many of the Thai women and men just have such a beautiful grace about them. And so you see it, in the lotuses and so on. So we begin to be a lot more aware of the beauty in the world around us, the emanations from plants. And so when you're tomorrow on your walk, your hike, your day adventure into nature, become very aware of the emanations of ether coming off plants, off of rocks. It's all there, and you can become very, very sensitive to it. It isn't just about looking in the sky at night and seeing the stars and going, oh, that's ether. It's in everything. Very much in everything. And you're going to have a long communion with the plant of your choice, where you will see and feel all of the elements in the plant, but then you will also see the emanations of the ether. The longer you sit with it, the more that you sense that life force coming off the plant. And it can have amazing. In the old days, taking LSD, back in the 60s, my favorite part was toward the end of the experience, when I could just sit in nature and just see the emanations of colors and all the patterns and all the interconnected. I used to love to sit in the sand, and I would just see like stars and crystalline patterns, every grain of sand, everything connecting, and one grain of sand would fall and then everything else would change, but everything would be connected by these invisible kind of rainbow patterns. And a bird would sing, and then emanations would spread out all around the tree and into the sky. I used to just sit there like, wow. A lot of those experiences could be very difficult, but then there was also that part where we really saw the invisible energies of life and how everything is affected and connected. And it's not that I'm advocating LSD, because I've gone way beyond that. I know that it's a part of the culture, and many students have come to the school out of that culture and emerged into the healing arts. And all of this is about how to get that consciousness without having to have drug experiences. It's like the truth is right here. And but in those days, in the 60s, that was absolutely the path that we all took as the consciousness was opening up for so many of us. And so you begin to see those amazing emanations of things. Let me see if I've forgotten anything. The Vishuddha chakra, which means pure, the subtle vibrations of life, communication, listening, and speaking, the ether element. I speak and hear truth with all of my being, and of course hearing is the sense. I believe bitter is the taste. I always get mixed up between the air and the ether taste. We begin to be very comfortable with emptiness and space. We can only stand in emptiness and space when we are filled with love and longing for the divine. We no longer wish to fill the emptiness and space with the world, only with the divine. Doesn't mean you're not in the world, but you don't have to fill yourself with it, so that you don't hear and feel and sense the emanations, coming. It's like the bell sound coming, it's like the ringing of the universe, the word of God. It's called so many things in the different, religious paths. And when I was in Japan, I think I went to Japan maybe 2 or 3 times on pilgrimages in this particular Buddhist path that I was in. And it was Shakyamuni Buddha's Lotus Sutra that we chanted. And we chanted this like an hour and a half in the morning, and we chanted it like an hour at night. And then sometimes we did these Daimoku Tozus, where we chanted it like 8 hours. We chanted all through the night. And you just become filled with the vibration of this sound. And at times you would just feel like your body was like lifting off. And at times it's like you wouldn't even be chanting, the sound would just be pouring out of your mouth. And I'd just be like sitting there going like, how could that sound be coming out of me when I'm not even moving my lips? But it would just pour out of you. And there was a phrase in that particular chanting that we used to do that was called Umandara Ke, which is blessings fall like rain. And when you would walk into the temples in Japan, there's the thunder, you'd walk into temples and all these hundreds of little bells would be ringing and making this incredible sound. And that was Umandara Ke. And it's like that, as you tune into these sounds in the universe, you begin to hear the ringing, and you begin to hear the Om. You begin to hear the sound of the cosmos. You begin to hear the sound of creation that's coming and it's in you, coming through the core current and spinning into you and around your body and all through the chakras. All correct. Like that. So I'll just do a little bit of that chanting for you because we're going to be doing chanting. We're going to be chanting. We're going to be listening to chanting, letting the sound go through us all through the pores of all of the cells of our being. And then we're going to make sound. And then we're going to receive sound. And then we're going to make sound and receive sound. And you have to really put some passion into it. And even if you feel your voice is terrible or that it's going to break, it doesn't matter. It's going to be loud, but you really need to really use some energy to bring the sound out because that will lift everything from all the work that you've done the last couple of days and let it out. Because the ether element completes. That's why we're also going to be writing today. And not to be afraid of your own voice. And when I was developing my voice, which I feel really, from the very beginning as a child, I was told that I couldn't sing. I would never be allowed to sing. I could never go in a choir because I had trouble with melody. And because I had trouble with melody, everyone thought that I didn't have a voice, and so I was never allowed to sing. And if I tried to sing, I was always told to be quiet. So I really got really rebellious about that when I came here from England. I thought, well, if I'm going into my freedom years at last, I'm going to learn to sing. So I used to put on the tapes in my car, and I used to sing all the way up and down the mountain. All the way up to 8,300 feet, all the way down to 5,000. And over the years I learned, well, maybe I'm not that great at melody. Maybe it takes me a long time to learn melody, but boy, I can sure chant. Oh, we've got the dog now. See, they just can't resist the ether element. They go, well, you've done all the work. I guess we're going to come and visit you now.
They go on.
Oh, this is familiar, isn't it? I know. Every year you come. So sweet. Niji Seisan Jusan Mayan Joni Kigo Shariat Chobushi Vinjin Viryodo Sie Manangan Nanyui Sai Shoman Yakushi Buchishoku no Shi Shoi Shogun Buchisojin Ganya Kuzenman Nokabushi Shobu. Anyway, on and on and on and on and on. I used to do that for an hour and a half. And I used to know the whole thing by heart. And today I know less than I usually do because I'm probably a little spaced or tired. So I don't know, I feel really good, but I can't remember it today. But it's a long time ago. It was way, way, way back in the 70s, the 4 years that I was in Nichiren Shoshu. And, but that's why I sing and that's why I chant a lot. I have a lot of the mantras, and it's not about believing the mantras or being Hindu or anything like that. I love the primal sounds of the universe. And I always say it's like you can sing along in anything because even if you don't know the melody of the words, you can just go, ah. You can just take like one of the sounds and you can just follow that sound and let that sound out and not worry about whether your voice is going high or low or whether it's following the melody, but it somehow will harmonize and become a part of the music. And so chanting has really become a huge part of my life. Freeing the voice and feeling more confident. And that song that I sang the other day, I am conditioned and unconditioned, I am both at the same time. That was the first song I ever invented. And I love it. And I can sing it because I can remember the melody. It's really simple.
Because, I have the melody, I'm sorry.
The melody is like really, really easy. And I can put the power of my voice behind it, and it sounds okay. So I did that like 2 or 3 years ago, and I was really, really thrilled when I finally did that. Because I would never lead songs, if there were groups or, where everyone was singing, I would always be afraid to lead a song. I could always follow, but I could never lead a song because I could never remember the melody. So whatever it is that's happening with any of those gifts, especially with sound, just forget it and move on and really begin to work with your voice and allow it to become strong and clear. And find where it can sing. If it can't do melodies, let it do something else. If it can't even do a chant, just let it make a pure sound. And let that feeling of strength, come up from the earth and the water and the fire up through the heart, and let it pour out your throat. That's what we want. Who's afraid of their voice? Who's afraid of the big bad voice?
In the morning, if it's not nice, it's not interesting. If it's, if you start singing and then the voice is breaking,
Yeah.
It's
not nice.
No.
So what do you do then? You just go, ah!
Yeah, trying to get to take it inside.
Yeah, to get it to go deeper.
And somehow you need also like a yoga for the voice, for the how do you say, voice cords. And there's some practice. Some warm-up?
Yeah, that's what I like to do. I mean, I put music on in the house. Not so much as I used to. There was a time when it was on 12 hours a day. And I'd be on the computer writing Flower Child or whatever. And sometimes I would just I have this incredible CD called Rudaksha with this Indian woman's voice that is so deep and so powerful. And when I first got that CD a couple of years ago, I played it all day long, 8-10 hours a day, until I could make those sounds. It took me such a long time to get that deep and that strong and that full. So that's what I do. I don't take lessons, but I just get music and then I sing to it.
Then you don't hear yourself so much.
No.
That's good.
Yeah, you disappear, and I still do that. I mutter around and I sing along, but But it's come a long way in the last few years, and so I'm very grateful for that. Because we want our voices to be strong and clear. Definitely. Okay, we'll take a little break and then we'll move on to the giving and receiving sound. Right, so the thing about the ether element, when we get into the movement, completely sit up straight and just let it pour. And then when we receive sound, we can just lay back. You want to receive sound, just completely let it pour through you. You don't want to hear it with just your ears, you want to hear it with your entire body. With all the cells of your skin, with all the interior organs, with all of the bones. You want to be able to just lay back and really receive sound fully. So you want to be able to really sit up straight and just really feel the shoulders go back and really feel like this is expanded. And then lift this part. It's much harder to make sound if your head is down like this. So let it lift. And then just let it pour, just like that. It's very beautiful.
बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीय मामृतात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीय मामृतात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीय मामृतात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीय मामृतात्
About losing what we have in order to receive what comes next. The letting go involves the letting go of good feelings, and it can be great sadness in letting things go. But there can also be a longing. So often together at the same time, as times of change come, there is a sadness for the time that is passing, and a knowing for the time to come. And this is so beautifully present in Georgia, Amazon, knowing that she will become a mother. go of the time when she has freedom to travel and to do all the things that she does and that she loves. And so the old cycle passes, and is coming close to the passing. And the sadness and resistance too, and really not wanting to change. Because the enjoyment of life as it is. And how bringing a child into the world changes very, very strongly the life of a woman to become a mother, like is never the same. And so in honoring this passage, this presence of George's life at the moment, it was very clear how the energy was drawn towards her as containing very much the essence of ether in this transition to come. So feel the sadness of how the earth element will change as it flows to ether. As one pattern ends and another pattern comes. Feel the strength and power of the earth element. How you have worked with the herbs. How you have worked with your body, with yoga, with living food, with nutrients. How you have worked to create the strength of her everybody. How she has honored the earth to move toward this time when she will become a mother. And then when we take the water element, the nurturing womb itself, preparing to receive the seed, the purification of the water element, all the work that she has done to prepare the water element to nurture. Just as a yoga teacher and the teacher and the practitioner that she is, and the learning of nurturing and giving and caring, she will also embrace from the womb and the fruit of the womb into the world a child who will carry on. And the sadness for me too, because it's Georgia! And there's no way that I can contain or would want to contain the pattern as it is when it is ready to change. You know, it's just, that's the way life is. And it has that quality of the losing of what will never be again. And then we have the fire of the Amazon, the strength and power of physical fire. To run as the athlete, to swim as the athlete, to learn to speak and to have the power of her own strength. So we wish you the power of earth, water, and fire for the next cycle of your life. And then, of course, we have the beauty of your heart. We have the beauty of your ability to give and to serve and to do beautiful things with food and the service in the world, your apprenticeship, the gardening, the growing, the making of living food. So many beautiful ways that the heart serves, that the heart gives. And now the heart releases this love of one's own personal life to a greater life, of also embracing another soul, bringing that soul into the nurturing world. Hard as it may be to let go, hard as it may be to change. Accept the change if it is to come. Let it be. Let it flow into the ether element and dissolve, and let the new pattern come forth. And then we take the blessings of the brow center. the vision, the strength to concentrate, to focus, to follow a spiritual path, to walk the yoga path, to be fully present in her evolution as a being, to make so many efforts, for not only herself but for many others. You have been touched by the work. And then we have the crown chakra, the opening to the spirit, the opening to the divine. We can refuse to listen, but it will still find a way to come. And if this is to be the destiny, you will find that it will unfold. And if it is not the destiny, then you will remain as you are. Open to it. Let it come. Just as one day we must recognize the ultimate reality of the departure of our consciousness from our physical body. Sometimes these great changes in life carry the same quality of letting go and receiving. So it's very important not to focus just on the letting go. It's very important to also remember what is coming in. The soul that will be waiting for you to be its mother. The soul that will be waiting for you to be part of your life, to share your light. And as sad as it is, the departure of all that you are, you will find that you are also there at the same time. And when later on in life you return to being more of a singular person, the richness and depth of that will even give you more. So many women long to be mothers, and so many women existed, and each has a truth for a strong reason. But if the soul is destined to come, it will come. Nothing you can do to stop it. Just allow yourself to feel into that, to feel the part of your life that is letting go of the part of your life that is coming toward you. So much the essence that you are letting go of the beauties and wonders of being alive. And that's forward there. So celebration is a mixture of joy and sorrow. Laughter and tears together. It's beautiful. Oh, let the heart open, Georgia. Let it open and race home to ether. Let be what must be. Let go. See what happens.
So laugh for me. Let me
Out of the
walk.
grief and sadness comes the greatest joy.
My heart unfolds. You every single Dance in the dark, we should talk every moment. My delicious I serve you my delicious drinking.
Let go of all the mind thoughts of thinking. Just be in the present moment. It happens, we really contribute. Don't imagine this about. Just receive and accept. There may be a soul in the universe that needs your power and strength and heart. What must happen, happen. What must unfold, unfold. And dance with it. Too much energy to resist. Too much pain to struggle against things. Allow life to move through you as it must. All cycles must be released. All cycles must be received. The different stages of childhood, the different stages of youth, the different stages of woman and manhood, the different stages of being an elder, and the stage of preparing and leaving, preserving this body. These are all cycles, beginnings and endings. But every ending has a beginning. Every completion opens into something new. It's the way the universe works.
Vibrating. Tingling.
Just take your time with this. Just take your time. It's important to sense the words to bring it back. It's important to bring every element into sound. So hard Thank you very much. My sister's probably having a baby right now. And if anyone has anything to say to Georgia or to the group, please do. It will help them.
Georgia, that bear chasing you, I think, was a sign. The bear is a sign of healing energy, goddess energy, and femininity of the healer. And I think it's a beautiful sign. I'm so glad that you weren't fearful and that you came back to my home to stay. And I hope that you welcome that gift of the bear chasing you into your world.
I just wanted to be able to play with it.
bliss. Laughter and tears of bliss.
You'll be a good mother.
Yeah.
I so understand what she's going through. I was so free, and when I had my children, I was so trapped, and it was so difficult. And now they're teenagers, and I love them so much, and I wouldn't be without them in the whole world. And I think until you have a baby, you don't know what unconditional love is. And it's the most wonderful thing you can have in the whole world.
I think any kid will be lucky to have a mom like her.
Yeah.
It's time. You've prepared yourself, and it's time. You've prepared yourself so beautifully. Special place.
And you don't really lose anything, it just changes form.
Then you get a mini you.
You get more. You can definitely bring the baby to my house. You can just sit it in the little, baby seat and go on as before.
Sounds good.
Starting to feel that better now.
Yeah, I'm learning that. Yeah.
Okay, we need a lot of support. I'd like to have the male energy help her up. One on either side. Patrick, come around the back. And so you have to very, very slowly and very gently lift her up and really support her. And I'll move out of the way and Patrick can support her from the back. And just let yourself be lifted by beautiful male energy. Just let yourself be lifted. And keep holding her.
She's right.
That's the Australian for you.
So how does that feel? A little bit weak in the knees?
A bit wobbly.
A bit wobbly.
Plenty of strength here.
Welcome back.
You need to run tomorrow?
What?
Run tomorrow?
Yeah.
You got two Australians there, you see, because George is originally Australian.
Oh.
And Patrick, they're supporting him. So you ready to take a first step? They're going to help you take a first step. See, just like a baby sometimes, the way we come into our new cycle. Just like a baby, honestly.
I was thinking that was like a rebirth almost. You could say the threshold has been crossed.
Oh, completely. Yeah, I mean, what it seems to me, although I never analyze it, is it creates a kind of complete letting go or death, and then it comes what comes out. And of course, it can only happen because of all the work that we've done. Gary last year, I mean, I met God, I touched God, I was God. For him, it was a total first-time connection with his God side. It can be very different for different people. What is meant to be transformed, what is meant to be released, what is meant to be received.